Picture this. I'm feeding a litter of stray kittens in my backyard, their tiny meows lighting up my day. Then Karen, the HOA president, storms in, clipboard blazing, saying they're a neighborhood nuisance. Next thing you know, I find those kittens tossed in a dumpster barely alive, throwing helpless animals in the trash. That's not just heartless. It's a full-blown declaration of war. So I got the whole neighborhood to help me expose her on national television. Guess who had to face millions watching her cruelty unravel? Karen thought she could crush my compassion and strut away smug. She didn't know she picked a fight with the wrong guy. I didn't just save those kittens. I turned our pain into a public reckoning she couldn't escape. You're not going to believe how this went down. Karen figured she could toss lies away and slip off clean. She had no clue I'd rally the block, flip her own rules, and make her the villain of a nationwide story. This tale starts with a cruel act, twists through a bold stand, and land with a victory so sweet you'll be cheering. Stick around, because Karen's about to drown in the justice she tried to bury. Let's set you down in Willow Creek, a quiet Illinois suburb where ancient elms shade tidy lawns. Kitzbadal Beek is to dusk. Porches hum with stories older than the streetlights. I'm a retired electrical engineer, 65. More at home, fixing circuits than glad-handing at HOA barbecues. A few years back, my wife passed. Her kindness was my guide, her laugh my beacon. Last spring, I found a litter of stray kittens behind my shed. 5 tiny fluff balls, eyes barely open, meowing for help. I named them Pepper, Biscuit, Tinker, Shadow, and Sprout. They weren't just strays. They were my new spark, curling up on my roses, chasing string while Scout, my old mutt, watched like a proud uncle. Feeding them became my ritual. Every meow was her warmth. Every purr was my pride. A bond I'd guard with my life. Willow Creek wasn't all purrs. New money flooded in. McMansions sprouted like weeds. Their gates shone brighter than their souls. Enter Karen, HOA president, the self-anointed queen of Willow Creek Estates. She ruled with a clipboard meaner than her perm. She didn't manage. She bulldozed. Her bylaws choked anything free. Wrong mailbox color? A $300 fine. Too loud crickets? Warning letter. Clara, my neighbor, got a $400 hit for a gaudy bird bath. It had a duck big whoop. Karen's patrols were relentless. Her SUV prowled at dawn. Her clipboard snapped like a judge's gavel, sniffing out joy like a bloodhound on a scent. Willow Creek Estates wasn't a community. It was her empire. Neon notices were her whip. Her smug grin was a fortress nobody dared breach. The kittens were her obsession. Fed quietly in my yard, zoned free, they purred. No HOA rule touched them. I kept low, tending them days. Tinkering nights, no fuss. Folks knew me as the cat guy, not a rebel. I liked watching them tumble, my wife's spirit in their play. Clara brought milk, loving their antics, griping Karen's fines. Her mailbox took a $350 hit for chipped green. Jamal, the local carpenter, cursed a $450 smoke fine. His grill was poetry. Rosa, whose roses bloomed like a sunset, paid $500 for excessive petals. Petals? I'd chuckle, knowing my permits outranked Karen's pen. I'd wired grids tougher than her. A clipboard was a toy, but Karen's eyes zeroed in on the kittens. She called them vermin once. Her sneer cut deeper than a blade. Vermin? They were my family, my heart. I'd defend them with every circuit in my soul. She sent warnings. Animal nuisance. Public health risk. I fired back with bylaws, council nods, all clean. Karen didn't care. Her notices stacked up. Each was a jab, daring me to swing. I filed them. Engineers calm holding. Trace the fault, don't spark. But her complaints grew nastier. Her threats sharpened, muttering bans and worse. To her, I wasn't a neighbor. I was a holdout. Those kittens, my wife's gift, were her target. One she'd erase till they were gone. Karen's war kicked off with a thud. A neon notice was taped to my shed. Her HOA seal glared like a summons. She didn't knock. She barged, standing in my yard like she owned my kittens. Your cats are a health hazard, she said, flipping her clipboard with a nail sharp as her smirk. Their tiny meows were legal, zoned free since I moved in, quieter than her yappy dog. I leaned on the fence, sipping coffee, and slid my paperwork over. City stamped, bulletproof. Not your yard. Karen, I said, voice flat as a breaker box. They're my family. Her lips twitched. Her eyes glinted like a coyote eyeing a meal. Yards don't run Willow Creek, she purred, venom in her latte-sipping grin. Rules do. Rules bite. Bite? That wasn't a chat. It was a gauntlet. I peeled the notice. Scout's growl matched my gut. I figured she'd back off. No chance. By week's end, notices piled. Printed, official absurd. Feral animals, for $100 fine. Noise violation, $300. Property blight, $500. Blight? The kitten's purrs were softer than her Christmas inflatables. I filed them, instincts humming. Log default, don't spark. But Karen wasn't tossing darts. She was wiring a purge. She crashed my evening feeding. The kittens tumbled. Her SUV parked like a barricade. Clara weeded nearby. Jamal fixed a gate. Rosa watered roses. Karen ignored them, zeroing on me. Her clipboard tapped like a gavel. "Those strays are tanking our property values," she said, voice dripping scorn. "Get rid of them, or we act. Act." My yard wasn't her pound. I tossed a toy, cool as a fuse. "Permits are clean, Karen. You've got no shot." Her grin turned icy. She wasn't debating. She was ordering. Clara whispered, "She's poison." Jamal nodded. "Find my grill, $450 for smoke." Smoke? Karen's eyes dare me to swing. It hit. A Wednesday, I checked their nest. The kittens were gone. My heart sank. I searched the yard, the block, then the alley. There in a dumpster, I found them. Pepper, Biscuit, Tinker, Shadow, Sprout, tangled in garbage, barely breathing. My blood boiled. Engineers don't short. We rewire. Karen thought she'd won, but her cruelty had just tripped a switch she couldn't cut. Karen's act didn't just break my heart. It shattered my soul. Tossing kittens in the trash wasn't a jab. It was a full-on massacre, targeting my family like they were filth. The fines didn't pile. They choked. Each was a brasher lie. Uncontrolled animals, $800 fine. Uncontrolled? They napped in my yard, not hers. Sanitation risk, $700. Their purrs were cleaner than her lies. Then came community disruption, $1,000, claiming they tanked her appeal. Appeal? Neighbors fed them treats, not her venom. I locked them in my safe, instinct screaming. Build a circuit, don't fry. But Karen wasn't playing. She was exterminating. My kittens were her prey. I sniffed a scam. Years wiring systems taught me to spot faults. I rushed the kittens to the vet. Poison, the doc said. Deliberate. My chest tightened. I checked my yard. Fences were tight, no violations. But signs grew. Clara caught Ted, Karen's lackey, scope in my shed. Said it's for a survey, she hissed. But he had a bag. Bay. Jamal saw Barb with a contractor, Karen's inspector, packing a phone. Inspector? More like a thug. I dusted the kitten's nest. Strange powder, enough to flag. Rosa tipme. Karen's at the diner, crowing. Cat's gone, town's clean. Clean? This wasn't a fine. It was slaughter. My kittens, my heart, my fight were a target. That Wednesday, I sat by their vet cages. Sprout whimpered, fighting. Rage roared, but I thought of my wife. Shine, don't curse. I hit the county code. Animal cruelty was a felony. HOA bans void. Inspiration struck. Why grieve alone when I could expose her? Big? Iduida bulde grits. I planned a neighborhood vigil. Pet justice rally, open to all. Right in my yard, aiming for media. I moved quiet. Flyers printed, cameras set. Emma, my lawyer pal, was on speed dial. Karen's fines were flimsy. State law backed me. I'd rally first, expose later, letting her strut into my trap. Clara's tip came through. Karen's HOA meeting, her stage to gloat. I lined up flyers, vet bills, Jamal's photos. Ted's text read, "Cat's trashed, boss thrilled." Thrilled? Not for long. Karen thought she'd won. Her perm was a crown. I was the spark. This wasn't a fight. It was a reckoning, and her block was about to roar. Willow Creek woke to outrage. Neighbors buzzed. The kittens' poisoning was the talk of the town. I stood by my yard, Sprout's collar in hand. My blood surged like a live circuit. Faces turned. Clara's eyes welled. "You're that cat guy?" Jamal grinned. "Knew you had claws." Karen's HOA cronies, parked nearby, froze. Ted's coffee hit the dirt. Barb's yapper choked mid-yap. Karen lounged by her gate, latte in hand. Her smirk faded. She hadn't known. She hadn't dreamed the guy she'd targeted was about to ignite the block against her. I paced my yard. Fines stacked. Karen's sanitation email stung like a frayed wire. Her complaints were fraud. No HOA could ban compassion. Laws shielded the kittens. Then Rosa dropped a bomb. "Got the what's out, but it." Strays gone. Peace saved. She framed them as vermin to prop her clean town cred. Peace. My gut roared. Engineers don't flinch. We surge. I scoured records. Karen's bylaws, pinned solo, had no votes. Fraud. Bold as her perm. I dug deeper. Emma pulled HOA files. $50,000 in fines. No receipts. Funneled to Karen's cousin's consulting scam. My vigil was bulletproof, untouchable. Then the twist. Saturday dusk. My yard erupted. Chairs, signs, neighbors galore. Our pet justice vigil kicked off. Save our strays. Justice for kittens. I shared vet reports, past treats. 100 showed up, then 300, then 1,000. Comments flew. "This is right. Karen's cruel." A local news van rolled in. Karen flipped. Her ex-post whined about a feral mob. Mob? I'd wired her trap. Our vigil grew. Her lies were exposed. Karen's meeting loomed. Her stage to spin lies. I rolled in, footage ready. My sign was lit. Pause unite. Justice stays. She'd lose it clueless, expecting cheers. I stacked rally stats, Emma's suit. Trespass, fraud, cruelty. Clara's tip came through. Ted's text read, "Kitten's gone, boss thrilled." Thrilled? Not for long. Karen's ex-post crowed. Willow Creek's pure. Pure? She'd kill my heart. I was the signal. This wasn't a fight. It was a spotlight, and her block was about to shine. Willow Creek's HOA hall was a volcano. Chairs were stuffed. 3,000 neighbors were crammed in. The air crackled like a storm about to burst. Karen stormed to the podium. Her perm was a fortress. She gloated like she'd crushed her foes. "We're saving Willow Creek," she crowed. The kittens' fines were her trophy. A slide slammed them as a public plague. "Standards," she preached. "Standards?" She'd murder my soul. Neighbors stirred. Claire's fists balled. Rose's eyes burned. Jamal leaned forward, jaw set. Karen's smirk was steel. She thought she'd own the town. She spun lies. The kittens were feral. A blight tanking values. Half-nodded conned, half-seeded, smelling rot. Ted tossed HOA rules flyers. Floors ate them like dust. Karen glowed. "We've cleansed Willow Creek." Cleansed? My move. I rose, footage in hand. My sign blazed. "Pause unite. Justice stays." My voice was low, like a meow rising. "Karen, got a dumpster to explain?" She froze. Her latte splashed. She expected cheers. "Rosa Isid, claw her out." I hit the projector. The screen lit up with my yard. 1,500 neighbors, signs high, chanting for kittens. Footage rolled. Karen's fines, no vote. Her smirk as she slapped penalties. Then my proof. Vet reports, powder samples. 1,000 rallied. A news clip played. "Local kittens poisoned. HOA blame." The crowd roared. Jamal bellowed. "Monster." Karen's face drained. "It's fake." I clicked. Linda's USB showed Karen's email. "Trash the cats. No debate." Claire's clip played. Karen's ex-post. "Strays crushed. Town's mine." Ted's text to Barb. "Poison worked. Pay up." Neighbors surged. Clara screamed. "Killer." My vigil hit national TV. Phones flashed like a wildfire. I faced Karen, sign raised. "You threw my kittens in the trash. Trespass, fraud, cruelty." I tossed him his suit. Our vigil was legal. Case 2025, WC 102, you're done. She choked. Values. Cops rolled in my call from dawn. Sheriff Klein stepped up. Cuffs gleamed. "Karen, you're under arrest." Click. Cuffs snapped on her. Ted, Barb. They were dragged through jeers. Karen wailed. "You can't." We did. The hall erupted. Cheers, fists high. Jamal hugged Rosa. Clara's laugh was wild. Linda yelled. "HOA's done." The vote was unanimous. Bylaws were torched. Karen's crown was ash. Our vigil was the flame. Rosa's clip hit 100 million views. Neighbors chanted, "Justice." I stood by my sign. The kittens' hearts were alive in their roar. Willow Creek wasn't hers. It was ours. Truth was the brightest meow. Karen's cuffs didn't just clip her ego. They scorched her empire. Willow Creek roared. Neighbors spilled into the streets. They hugged, laughed. Clara tossed treats like confetti. Deputies hauled Ted out. His strut was crushed. Karen sobbed. "It's a setup." Setup? Her crimes told the truth. The DA piled on. Trespass, fraud, animal cruelty. Charges stacked like cables. My suit gutted her HOA. $250,000 in fines. No votes. Pure scam. Money funneled to her cousin's consulting racket. No receipts. Karen's lackey flipped. He named 80 scams. Kittens, sheds, all fined. All tied to her sister-in-law's Creek Realty. Clara's fence, hit in 22, wasn't unsafe. Barb's text bragged. Paid off. Rosa's roses. Fine last spring, with the same game. 100 neighbors spoke. X exploded. Hashtag Creek Justice spiked to 100 million posts. Tales spread from Florida to Maine. The council froze her accounts. $35 million was seized. Her gazebo was bulldozed. Her realty was a front for scams. Karen faced 30 years. Her plea died when Barb spilled $800,000 in inspector bribes. Karen's name was on each. Willow Creek didn't gawk. Good Morning America ran Kittens Justice. We laughed, cried, moved on. The HOA collapsed. The board bailed. Bylaws burned. Neighbors raided the office. They unearthed $25 million in fines. Karen's piggy bank for luxury trips, funded by Clara's birdbath, Rose's tulips. Lee led a vote. New council, no fines, just trust. Karen's standards? Smashed. Our vigil shone. Clara clapped my shoulder. Your wife would be proud. Proud? I felt her, urging me to fight on. The kittens recovered. Pepper led the pack, scampering again. I built a cat sanctuary in my yard. Neighbors chipped in. Volunteers grew. The pain lingered, but their purrs healed us all. Willow Creek didn't just heal. It purred. Our cat's sanctuary, now 100 strong, fills my yard every weekend. We feed, play, share stories. No fines, all pride. Neighbors pitch in. Clara brings biscuits. Rosa bids. Jamal prints signs. Hank adds grit. It's not a yard. It's us unbowed. The sanctuary's a beacon. Folks join from across town. Their smiles warm my soul. Karen? She's a ghost. Her curtains stay shut. I catch her peeking at her cats. My yard hosts joyful mornings. Kids cuddle kittens. Strangers adopt strays. Istal not dusk. Scout's tail thumps. The kittens scamper. My wife's love burns bright, fiercer than ash. Justice isn't loud. It's a meow, a town that stands firm. Got an HOA horror story? A Karen who tried to break your heart? Drop in the comments. Share your wildest clash. Where you're watching from. I read every one. Hungry for your fire. Did this fight light you up? Smash that like. It's wiring truth to the grid. Share with your crew, neighbors, even the guy with the loud truck. New here? Subscribe, hit the bell. We're chasing more wins, laughs, and grit. I want you in a pack. Thanks for standing with me in Willow Creek. Keep shining, fighting, crushing nonsense. Catch you next. Stay tough, stay true.